As you may have noticed, the readings have been primarily focused on the ascension of Jesus. And rightly so, because we will be celebrating the solemnity of Jesus' ascension into heaven in a short while, in just a few days. But, let's focus on that aspect of the ascension wherein the apostles were worried. I mean, imagine this. Um, they were so scared during the crucifixion, during the passion and death of Jesus. Almost all of them left. Only the Apostle John was at the foot of Jesus during the crucifixion because they were so afraid. Uh, Probably some of them were thinking, is Jesus a failure? Is my faith in Jesus wrong? We know Judas gave up and ultimately betrayed Jesus. So all of those fear, all of those frustration, all of those feeling of not uncertainty were suddenly vanquished when Jesus rose again. And that was the greatest glory. I mean, imagine um, the person that everyone has been persecuting, has been trying to put down, especially when he died and at the cross at that, rose from the dead. I mean, how often do you see that? I mean, how often do you see someone rising from the dead? Especially someone who spoke about it. Imagine the fear that got vanquished. Imagine the joy of the apostles after realizing that they have indeed placed their faith on the right person. So they must have been celebrating. Imagine that. And then suddenly here comes Jesus saying, in a little while, I will have to leave you. And of course, ultimately, they realize it was Jesus going to heaven. But the literature is consistent. They felt sad. They felt desolate. They felt that Jesus left them. Probably they knew that there is a plan. And that is probably what they held on in those difficult times. And what probably held them the most was Jesus telling them, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will become joy. They held on to this, and that was what kept them together. Brothers and sisters, there are a lot of times in our life. Sometimes it's our own doing, probably with our sin. Uh, Probably it's because we wanted something else, and God had a different plan for us. And those things, sin, uh, receiving what we didn't expect, those probably felt like we are being alienated by Jesus Christ. But always remember His word. You will mourn, the world rejoices. You will grieve, but your grief will become joy. If your sadness comes from your sin, Jesus assures you that He came for the sinners, not for the saint. He went down for you. In the same way He went up for you. You are part of that plan. The salvation plan, the operation save, salvation, Operation Salvation is still ongoing, and you are part of that. So do not despair. If it's because God didn't, give you what you were expecting, again, do not despair. When Jesus ascended into heaven, all the apostles felt they were left. But their mourning came rejoicing because they realized that Jesus is God and Jesus wants the best for them. And that Jesus going to heaven does not mean they are left. Your problems, your situation does not mean Jesus left you. It just means that there is a plan. There is something that you need to undergo. There is something that you need to learn, to grow, and receive more. You know the marshmallow experiment? Will you eat that one piece of marshmallow? Or will you hold off so that you will get more? And in our case, it's not just 2 marshmallows that you will get, it's heaven. Are you going to hold off just so that you can receive what God has given you? Brothers and sisters, Ascension teaches us that God might feel, that God might make us feel that He left us. But everything comes together for His glory and our glory. One of my favorite songs says, God makes everything glorious. His ascension is part of His plan to make you glorious, because you are created in the image and likeness of God, and you are love. Do not despair. Have hope. Trust. The greatest lover is your lover.